So, watched this on BBC Breakfast this morning, and I will show the clip in its entirety. So it's about 2 minutes long, so I do apologise. But it's all about Brexit. Now, watch the clip.
So we have this curious scenario. Theresa May says she wants to come over and have a chat, but the message coming back is that that's not possible.
Hi Charlie, yeah, that is basically how the phone call played out last night between Theresa May and Donald Tusk, who's the President of the European Council, the guy who chairs those meetings of EU leaders and rings round all the other 27 countries to work out what they think about Brexit. Theresa May apparently said to him during this 45-minute call last night, which is described as open and frank, which by the way is diplomatic code for bad-tempered, she said that Parliament had voted quite clearly and said that its problem was the Irish backstop, that backup plan for avoiding the reintroduction of checks on the Irish border, whatever the future relationship that's negotiated between the UK and the EU. And then we're told Donald Tusk said to her, fine, well, you need to come up with some solutions and evidence that those solutions will be able to get through the House of Commons in the final vote, and then you can come back. And there are no meetings planned between those two in the next couple of days, because there have been lots of speculation here that Theresa May was going to hop on a train or a plane and come over and talk to EU leaders and officials here. Another thing, though, that's being discussed here is what Parliament voted for a couple of days ago, this idea of looking at alternatives to the backstop. Here they are prepared to look at alternative suggestions brought by the UK, but they say the last 2 years was all about looking at alternatives. They looked at every single border in the world and they didn't find any. So it doesn't sound like they're too hopeful that those alternatives actually could be a goer.
So, as you can see there, yet again, after all these votes in Parliament and da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, the first thing that Europe have repeatedly said is there's no more negotiation. And they're still asking, when's Theresa May going to hop on a plane or the train and get over to Brussels? There's no more negotiation. When are the other members of Parliament going to realise there's no more negotiation? And this is one of the reasons why many of us wanted to leave Europe in the first place, is there's no negotiation. It's that deal or no deal. Now, David Cameron promised us, I'm going to leave you with David Cameron, what he promised us, but essentially he promised us, right, that he's going to go to Europe to try and negotiate a better deal for us. And then we'll have an in-out referendum, whether it's the deal that he negotiates, the deal that we have, or we're out with no deal. So we voted for a no-deal Brexit. And I will leave you with David Cameron's words. But before I go, the one thing I will say is, please, politicians, Europe will not negotiate. Let's just leave on a no deal Brexit. Right? In terms of Ireland, right, we don't have to put borders there. If Europe put borders there, it's Europe that tear up the Good Friday Agreement, that peace treaty. It's Europe that is splitting Ireland in two, not the UK. So it's Europe's problem. If Europe want to put a hard border there and check all the goods and services coming over the border, that's entirely up to them. We can still have free movement going our direction, a bit like Spain and Gibraltar. So to get into Gibraltar, it's quite hard, but to get out of Gibraltar, it's fairly easy, you know? So it's just frustrating. But anyway, look at the promise that was made to us. Look at what we voted for. We voted for the deal that we had with Europe, or a no deal. We voted for a no deal Brexit. Finally, give us our no deal Brexit, please.
And ultimately it will be the judgment of the British people in the referendum I promised that I will deliver. You will have to judge what is best for you and your family, for your children and grandchildren, for our country, for our future. It will be your decision whether to remain in the EU on the basis of the reforms we secure, or whether we leave. Your decision. Nobody else's. Not politicians, not parliaments, not lobby groups, not mine. Just you. You, the British people, will decide. At that moment, you'll hold this country's destiny in your hands. This is a huge decision for our country, perhaps the biggest we'll make in our lifetimes. And it will be the final decision. So to those who suggest that a decision in the referendum to leave would merely produce another stronger renegotiation and then a second referendum in which Britain could stay, I say, think again. The renegotiation is happening right now, and the referendum that follows will be a once-in-a-generation choice, an in or out referendum. When the British people speak, their voice will be respected, not ignored. If we vote to leave, then we will leave. There'll not be another renegotiation and another referendum.